How to wholesale commercial real estate. Guys, it's Rick in. And in this video, we're actually going over how to connect with commercial owners to actually wholesale their properties. So if you join me in the first video, I went over an entire intro. The next one, we went over how to underwrite and easily evaluate any of these deals. And today we are going to go over how to do the marketing. And it's not as complicated as you think, but it's definitely different in doing single family homes. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this video with someone who wants the truth about wholesaling. So yes, we're talking about wholesaling commercial properties, and you can do it. There are subtle differences, actually major differences if you want to get down to it, and refer back to the first video in this series on wholesaling commercial properties so you understand the distinct difference. The one disclaimer I'm going to give you before I get into this is these are more sophisticated sellers. They're going to make sure you have money, and you got to make sure you actually know what you're doing and talking about. So this fake it till you make it, which I never really believed in wholesaling, we assign our interest in these people are going to require real deposits and real down money. Now, don't panic. What you want to do is align yourself with people that actually have access to capital and have the wisdom to take these deals down. Me and Zach have the capability to do that. But even if you don't go with someone else, find someone that can back you up, because you're not going to, if you have no money to your name, and I'm just saying it happens all the time, you can't fake it through commercial. And the ones that fake it, they never ever make it. In fact, all my properties I sell, you have to go through a broker to even get there, which leads us to the next thing is there's really only three ways to get access to these deals. Number one's the blatantly obvious one, and that is through a commercial real estate broker. Now, I'm going to forewarn you, these people are used to people wasting their time, and they are very careful when they vet their buyers and their sellers when it comes to these types of deals. Most people brag about what they have, but at the end of the day, if someone's going to list a commercial property, they got to make sure they're going to sell it. They actually have the rights to the ownership. And more importantly, a buyer like myself or you, the broker's job is to make sure you're for real. So I'm going to tell you the upfront obstacle you're going to get is they're going to vet you to make sure you're real. Make sure you're aligned with someone. You cannot fake this part. I can't stress this enough to you. So either get with me and Zach or find someone in your local community that has the wherewithal, the capital, the wisdom, and you could go out and find these deals for them and make very, very nice profits on them. So let's get into it. So as I said, the first one, most people go through a commercial broker. I'm telling you right now, you can't just pick up the phone and call commercial brokers and go, hey, give me all your distressed commercial real estate. It doesn't work that way. In fact, the only way to get deals with them is you have to network and talk to them. And if you don't provide them any value, they're not going to give you the time of day. So you don't think you're going to get off this video and call 100 commercial real estate brokers and get deals. Number one, they're going to vet you. And number two, they want to make sure you're for real. So we got to go out and find distressed properties. Now, what I like to do is find these distressed type of commercial properties on my own, and then bring that commercial broker to show them the types of deals I can find, to get their input on the valuation, and most importantly, to see if they have any cash buyers for it. See, that's the best way to work with a commercial broker. Calling them ice cold, spamming them on a phone, on a cold call is the absolute worst. So in this part of the business, remember I tell you, you don't really want to work with real estate agents because they're never going to give the truth to their sellers, and they just want the highest price for people who want to sell their house. When it comes to commercial, it's not so much a want versus a need, because very, very few people need to sell their commercial real estate. Why? Because they're established and they're well off. They've built a nest egg. So the fact that if we ever think we're going to get like super low offers, the real value when it comes to commercial is getting into the numbers, not so much the deep discount. We can do both. But I'm just here to tell you, you're going to have to brainwash yourself on the want versus need, because that's not nearly as factual when it comes to commercial properties. In fact, most people just want to sell them. So we're always going to deal with commercial brokers. I just gave you a simple technique how you can access them as opposed to cold calling and bugging the crap out of them. Number two, I like direct mail. Why? Because it works. You got to find a way to get in front of these owners. Now, I'm going to give you a preface. When I do direct mail, I'll show you how we pull the list. Is most of the time they're going to give your letter to a commercial broker, and then the broker's going to call you and see if you're for real. You need to be prepared for it now. In fact, more than half of them are going to give it to their commercial brokers because they trust them to vet you, and they don't know enough to do it. And most people that own commercial property just deal with the person who initially listed the property to use as a backdrop if somebody wants to sell it. You have to work with commercial brokers. There's really no way around this. I'm just going to be brutally honest. Now, I like to do direct mail. How do I do it? I send them a letter. That's it. A simple letter. Hey, talk about their building, wherever it is, the address, and we're looking to add some investments to our portfolio, please let me know if we can discuss and even discuss the possibility of buying that property. Something really simple. It's got to be a letter, and honestly, it usually takes multiple touches to do it. Now, I like to put my personal name on it, not even my company, or I'll put and or my company on there. You got to show them like you're for real. They're not going to go off of banded signs, handwritten signs. They're definitely not going to respond to postcards. I find letters to be the most authentic to get a connection. Remember, your job is to identify them, use a medium to connect with them, and then open a conversation to see if you can form a relationship. That part's still going to be the same as single family home when it comes to commercial. So let's do this. Let's pull up our screen and I'll give you a couple different ways that anybody can pull a list. Now, number one, before I get to the screen, is we're looking for multifamily properties. Multifamily is where multiple people live in the house. That's typically going to be apartment buildings, fourplexes, duplexes. I like between 5 and 50 units. Why? Because the big boys don't chase it, and it's just above the average wholesaler's head, which means you have less competition for it. So what you want to do is identify states that are very multifamily friendly. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, Florida's not the best one. It's not. But if I go to like Ohio, I go to Tennessee, I go to Pennsylvania, they're absolutely everywhere. It's absolutely crazy. So the purpose of this video is I'm only focusing on multifamily. Yes, there's self-storage, there's all sorts of things, but we got to get started. I believe multifamily is the sweetest spot for commercial. Now, guys, all you have to do, I believe the best way is to work with your county records and identify everybody that owns a multifamily property and get on a list and set a target price and a target area. It's not complicated. Most of these businesses are going to be owned by LLCs. That's fine because you can go on XLeads and it will skip trace your LLC. It's not a big deal. So what I want to do is, what I used to do is I used to go into the master file for the tax collector and I just pulled every multifamily property. If you can get that data, you're gold. And if you can get it directly from the county, it's even better. And then what you can do is you can get everything multifamily. You can sort them out by type. Maybe they code them apartment. Every county's different. And then you can filter by the tax assessed value. If you want to look at everything that's under like $8 million, then you can do that. So guys, on average, if we did 50 units, that's usually going to put you under the $5 million range. That is a good filter to start out with. Now, don't be surprised. Like if you go to California, you'd expect you're not going to find $5 million apartment complexes. And I don't want you to go to the bottom of the very, very rough C properties that are in bad areas that have a lot of crime. We want to find like B property opportunities that we can do value add, meaning we can do forced appreciation, add extra amenities, clean the place up, and increase the rents and give a better experience and lower the vacancy and increase what? The NOI. That's the whole goal of doing commercial real estate. So guys, we're either working with the commercial brokers. I like to do direct mail. I like to send a letter. I like to send 3 letters and I do them in succession, 30. Then I'll do a letter 60. Then I'll do a letter 90 or 120 days. And once they call us, that is your opportunity to connect with them. Your job, once they call you, is simply to answer the phone and be the nicest person in the world and see if they have desire in selling their property. We are not going to try to filter people on MCTP, and we are not going to try to find people who just need to sell commercial. Ideally, we like that, but it's actually very rare. These people don't need to sell. Here's what we're typically going to look for. Someone that's owned the property 5+ years, maybe even 10 years. That indicates they're experienced, they have a lot of equity in the property, and they have a good foundation, everything going on with the property. It also indicates they're kind of tired of it. Like everybody has a change once they're bored, and we look for what we call flat rents. This is when they've charged the same amount of rents over like a 5-year period because they don't want to deal with the fix-ups, they don't want to deal with the upgrades, and they rather keep things stable because they don't want a big capital expenditure. And usually that's when they stop spending on money on the property, the rents go flat, and that's usually an indication the property probably needs to be sold. Now remember, it's the seller's choice. Some are just retiring, some need money for retirement, some want to avoid any types of tax gains. We don't overpromise, but we find creative ways to help these people out. Because remember, all these properties are sold with the help of seller financing, usually an assumable loan, or the seller will carry back a note on the property. It is perfectly normal. It's actually typical because they want to move the property, and that's the fastest way to do it. As long as they get their capital back and they're getting a return on their money, most people are fine with doing that. Not everybody, but for the most part. When I say assumable loan, a lot of times you can transfer those loans because most loans on multifamily are what we call short term, which are usually 7 years or less. And a lot of this money's coming up due. You guys are in a sweet spot to do this right now. So that's typically the main ways we do it. Like there's not, I don't have 9 different type of government lists to do this on. Now, occasionally these will people wind up on tax delinquency lists, occasionally on code violations, but for the most part, they're not. And you need to understand that. Most of them are going to pay their taxes because remember, most commercial properties require between 20 and 30% cash down payment. The banks want to make sure they have cash in it. Now, once we identify someone who even has a desire to sell it, now we can start moving forward. Once they have a desire to sell it, it's great. Simply, can I get some financials from you on the property? That's it. What are we talking about? We have to calculate what the NOI is, the net operating income. And how do we get that? It's revenue minus expenses divided by the cap rate will give you the valuation for the property. So the first thing you have to do is once you identify they want to sell it, you've got to get the numbers. Now, in a perfect world, they'll give you a profit and loss statement for an entire year, and they'll give you a balance sheet. If it's on an organized Excel spreadsheet or like a QuickBooks file, that's a good sign that you have a very organized and you're getting accurate numbers. If you see handwritten books or we're behind 2 years, it's going to be messy and it's going to take time. But I'm going to be honest with you, those are some of my best deals. I prefer to have the clear numbers and get them sooner than later. When people don't have their numbers, here's the God honest truth. A lot of people we buy from are just, they're not good landlords and they're very, very bad business owners. They don't keep good books. They do it themselves. And so what I want to find out are what are the numbers? And here are the numbers we need. We need to get that NOI. Now, this usually takes you some time and you got to get through it. In the beginning, I don't want bank statements. I just want financial papers. Either hopefully they have a hard copy of a computer printout of like QuickBooks. If you see handwritten like ledgers like they used in the 70s and 80s, it's going to take some time to figure out these numbers because they're going to be wildly inaccurate. And they're basically telling you they're not professional and they probably need to sell because they're in over their head, in my opinion. Remember, also, you're going to have to get the last 2 years tax returns on that LLC just to find out what they took for depreciation of the property. And that will help you verify all the financials when you get it. But in the beginning, I'm just asking for the numbers. I'm not demanding, I'm just asking. And remember, people who truly want to sell, they will get you the numbers. If they can't get you the numbers and they're just a mess, a cluster, be patient with them, work with them. That is your opportunity to actually form a relationship and help them out. I've bought plenty of commercial properties where we couldn't even find financials and we had to reverse engineer everything. It just takes more time and it costs more money. Yeah, that's how it works in commercial. So remember, once we get those numbers, we're just doing the initial underwriting. And remember, the initial underwriting in the previous video for this is look at the expenses carefully, look at the revenue, and you can figure out what the average rents are. And remember, we don't buy properties on what the potential is. We buy it for what it is now. They always tell, oh, rents could be $400 higher. There's a reason they're not higher, but it's usually because they haven't made capital expenditures on the property. So just take all that data, all that information, and your job is to gather it. This takes a little bit of time, especially if they have bad books. And remember, bad books just means there's more opportunity, but it's going to take you more time. And look at those expenses and if you have $500,000 in revenue, assume the expenses should be $250,000. And if they're showing expenses are 10 grand, you already know what's going on. And that's where we form a relationship and we talk to them and tell them how we can make an offer on it. Your last assignment when doing these marketing is basically finding out what the area's cap rate is. So what I want to do is share my screen and show you real quickly how you could use X Leads to actually do it. So just go ahead and click your leads tab here. Now, this is for you guys that have the X plan on this, the upgrade versions on X Leads. This is one of the benefits as you grow your business and do more. Instead of doing a residential, you go down here and click commercial. And what you want to do is find states that have the most multifamily. You can use AI to find this stuff. But like in this instance, I go over to Columbus, Ohio, and then I'm going to go into the filter section. And if you look here, I can go down to asset types for commercial. So for example, I just clicked apartment, okay? And then if I want to do valuations, what I'll do is put the property value at a max. Let's just say 3 million. And see how those numbers? So let's do this. Let's do 2 million. Now you got to filter out in your range. And if you look down here, you'll see the number changing as the number's spinning there. 3403, I click results and bam. Guys, these are all commercial properties owners. Now you can actually create a letter inside of X Leads. I'm going to show you how to do that in a separate video. And you can actually send one-off letters to these people and make it super convenient. So like this one right here, 18 units. This one's 4 units. So this is a really small one right here. And I believe this is 4 units, 53% equity. And this one was listed and it's pending. So now I can actually even get a comp. And remember, comps don't matter. It's cash flow. You got to find out what every commercial building's cash flow is, and that's how you find it. But this one sold for $399. I don't have a lot of facts. Fully occupied 4, and you can go through the whole thing. It'll show you the loans. It'll show you the financials. If you click the contacts, it will give you the LLC's phone number or the individual's phone numbers. Guys, I mean, there's over 4,000 properties here. It's not that hard. What you have to do is you have to get these lists. You have to reach out to them. You got to find people with desire. And remember, getting the numbers is going to take some time and some work. So I want you to understand, guys, your job when it comes to marketing is I go all in a multifamily. I like to find anything from 4, we'll say 4 or 5 units up to 50. That is going to be your sweet spot. The big investors don't go for it, and the starter wholesalers don't want to reach for it. You can reach for it. Just align yourself with a cash partner, an equity partner, somebody who's got wisdom on how to take these deals down, and you could do this stuff all day long. And remember, we only choose properties that give us a nice return. So I don't want you to do this like you do PPC and PPL where you just hope and pray. You actually have to do a calculation when you do this. Your first job is to identify people that want to sell these types of properties and understanding they don't necessarily need to sell. They're just in the position to sell. And then your job's to sort out all the financials, and the ones that give it to you easily, you can just make quicker decisions. And we do appreciate that. But keep in mind, the ones that have messy books or they take weeks, if not months to get you, you're pretty much going to be the best buyer for it because you're going to have to reverse engineer all the numbers and verify some of that. And guys, once we get past the initial underwriting and we decide, hey, this is a property I want to move forward with, you're going to identify it if you want to keep it for yourself or you want to sell it to one of your cash buyers, which you can easily assign these contracts and make ginormous assignment fees, usually 6 figures and higher. It's completely up to you. Or you can actually refinance the property and make it cash flow and keep it in your family. I mean, the sky's the limit to what you can do this stuff. Guys, I'm just talking about one asset class. You could do this over and over. Now, I want you to use XLeads. It can kind of get you started. I would do the X plan. If you're going to do that, go over to xleads.com. But if you're serious about this, guys, it's just a little bit more work. It's really just another zero behind it. And if you can form that conversation, that bond with people and help them through it, especially the ones that are struggling with their financial numbers, those are the people that really need to sell because it's a train wreck what they got going on. And they might as well take their profit and move on. Remember, most of them only look at what it sold for, what they bought it for, and they'll look how much it's gone up. Hopefully we can find a good fit in those properties. Get those numbers, get to that NOI and find out what your area's cap rate is. And the offers on these are so simple. NOI divided by the cap rate is the retail offer for that type of property. We're going to get a slight discount or we're going to find the value add so we can force the appreciation up on these multifamily properties and make tons of money. Guys, one little fix by like an increase of $100 a month in rental income. If you had 50 units, you could increase the value by $500,000 or $600,000 just by doing that one move. Maybe it costs you $30,000, $40,000 to do some renovations or put in a pickleball court or like whatever it is. But like, guys, this is where you can make it happen. And remember, the primary difference is you're in charge of every aspect by controlling the appreciation on the property. When it comes to single family, we only control the buy. Past that, the more time and energy that goes by, market risks like inventory supply and interest rates being stagnant, which is the biggest problem with people flipping single family homes. So guys, make sure you go out and market for these commercial properties. They are there for you. It's not complicated. I just show you how to do it in XLeads and I showed you how to go to your county to do it. It's simple. I just want you to attack this list. There are basically, I want to say I broke down 9 or 10 categories when it comes to commercial. I like to focus on multifamily because it's the easiest one to translate and get these properties wholesaled. So guys, find people that want to do it, reach out with them letter, work with the commercial brokers, and then work on helping them get their numbers. Don't make it difficult. And once you get those numbers and it passes initial writing, your next phase is you actually have to back those numbers up, meaning you have to look at bank statements to make sure what they're telling you is true. And then we'll get to the final video on how to move forward, how to make your offer, and how to move forward on the dispo right after this video, guys. Let me know if you have a strong basic foundation on marketing for multifamily properties. And as usual, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this video with someone who wants to learn the truth about wholesaling. This is Rick, and guys, I will see you in the next video in the series on dispo, and we'll bring it all together.